Just when you think we're done getting news about Avengers Doomsday, they really say he go 3 more for you. We've officially gone 0 days without an update on Avengers Doomsday. Because we just got even more insane news about Avengers Doomsday that includes Robert Downey Jr. sharing some set photos that have fans losing their minds. More confirmation that Doomsday is going to be a secret Avengers versus Fantastic Four versus X-Men movie. Teases for some potential returns of some familiar faces in the MCU. And you know me, I get crumbs and make a full course meal. But either way, me and you know what we got to do. We got to talk about it. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. But for real, let's start off with this set photo that Robert Downey Jr. shared the other day, where we see him sitting in front of his big-ass trailer, reading Jeremy Renner's new book, My Last Breath. But look around you. Outside of the obvious do not knock, trust yourself, doom sign on his trailer, and the padded muscle suit, if we hit that zoom in, crazy head placement, if we hit that zoom in and enhance, you can see he's got those little dots on his face, which usually signify some type of motion capture, which immediately had a whole bunch of fans upset saying that, oh my god, Doom's mask is going to be nanotech, oh, it's going to be CGI. And y'all need to Hakuna Matata. Because, well, yeah, it could probably be that. If I personally had to guess, I would say it's probably his scarring, because, you know, Doom is severely scarred. There's a reason he wears a mask. It could be de-aging, or it could be something where they're playing with faces because this Doom for some reason looks like Tony Stark. And then today, Robert Downey Jr. posted this photo, his Dr. Doom Essentials. We got a Hickman Doom comic, which I'll go over in a second. Kleenex tissues. What do you mean by that? A drink and then a bunch of product. But this is a very interesting comic to tease, because in that comic, the universe is dying and there's only 3 beings that are left alive: Dr. Doom, Galactus, and Valeria Richards. After Galactus destroys Doom, Valeria brings him back 2 years later, teaming up, going world to world, collecting raw celestial power to try to take down Galactus to save what's left of reality. But this book, like every single Doom appearance in the comics it's ever, does a great job in illustrating Doom's massive ego, but also his very interesting relationship with Valeria Richards. And in case you don't know, Valeria Richards and Dr. Doom have a very strong connection in the comics. He's Uncle Doom to her. I mean, Doom is the one who named her, and he's the one who delivered her. He thinks of her as a Reed who's less annoying. And also by mentoring her, he thinks he's doing something that he could do better than Reed. So it's like Doom being Doom. So I'm curious if they'll be adapting elements of that with Franklin Richards instead. But either way, that man just teased what Doom's gonna be like. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. But Doom! You looking for this? Because I think we ain't done yet. The next pieces of news are really the biggest ones. According to reliable industry insider Daniel RPK, Marvel Studios is reportedly filming an epic fight scene featuring the Avengers battling the X-Men in Avengers Doomsday. And not only that, the X-Men will appear in comic accurate suits. Forgive me, neighbors, for what I'm about to do, but that means something to me. Ever since we got the announcement that the OG X-Men were returning for Avengers Doomsday, and with the fact that we know this is Doomsday/Secret Wars, incursions are going to be happening, it makes sense for them to adapt Avengers vs. X-Men. Now, obviously, it's going to be way different in the MCU than it is in the comics. In the comics, America's Boy Scout Captain America hates mutants. When they found out the Phoenix was coming back for Hope Summers, it created a divide between the Avengers and X-Men. So I think they're definitely setting up something similar to happen. But on top of that, it's also being reported that Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom uses the Avengers and the Fantastic Four to take on the X-Men. Which honestly is a smart move, because the X-Men are wiping the floor with the Avengers. What are we talking about? So they definitely need the help of the Fantastic Four too.
Like 40 of us. And
Your numbers.
5 of them. And one of them's like half man, half robot. You just turn off the power and he's done. And then another one's a guy with a shield who's a bit strong. I mean, come on. And then there's another, who's the other one? The guy with bow and arrow. We've got guns and stuff. He's got claws. I could just go like sit down and they'd all sit down. I'd be like, have a cup of tea. They'd all be having a cup of tea. I could be like, take your clothes off. And they'd all be taking the clothes off. It would be a disaster.
Embarrassing for them, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And what makes this news even more believable is that Nightcrawler actor Alan Cumming, he ain't gonna be coming no more, revealed during an interview that his Nightcrawler is gonna be fighting Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards.
Like, I'm playing Nightcrawler again now. I was just working with these, I'm learning stunts yesterday for the fight scene. And I just think, I'm 60 years old. 23 years ago, I played that superhero. I was kind of old for a superhero even then. And now I'm back doing it. And that to me is hilarious. And then I'm sort of learning these fights. I'm like, what? Who am I fighting with? And I said, you're hitting Pedro Pascal against the head or something.
Which I think makes a whole lot of sense considering the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. We know that the Fantastic Four are going to be going to a different universe, but I don't think their first stop is going to be Earth like we saw in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. I think Reed, through the power of the bridge, or maybe Franklin Richards, wind up in the X-Men universe that we saw Monica Rambeau end up in the Marvel's post-credit scene, which I'm thinking and guessing is a universe where all of these OG X-Men plus Channing Tatum are going to be from. But if I had to guess and theorize, I feel like the fight scene between the Fantastic Four and the X-Men is going to play out similar to the Guardians versus Doctor Strange, Peter Parker, and Iron Man, which has been a trope not just in the MCU, but comic history galore. The heroes always end up fighting each other before they team up in the end. But then Doom, what adds a wrench to this story is the fact that we got set photos and a set video from the Doomsday set of what looks like a destroyed Sentinel. So how I think this plays out is that the Fantastic Four will end up in the X-Men universe, duke it out, fight a little bit, just because why are all y'all blue? Why are all y'all wearing blue? Bam! Snicked! Flame on! Side note, but it's crazy that Fox had the rights to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, but we're barely seeing a crossover in the MCU like 30 years later. We're gonna get the original X-Men cast fighting the 3rd reboot of the Fantastic Four. 4th reboot? 4th time's the charm. But that's when the Sentinels show up and they're like, oh shit, we should kill them because they're trying to kill you. But then we gotta go back to this photo that was shared by the Russo brothers, Robert Downey Jr. and Agbo Films of Victor Von Doom's chair in most likely Charles Xavier's mansion. If I had to guess, Doom is the one pulling all the strings and being the master manipulator, pitting our heroes against each other, which allows him to get the upper hand. Plus, there was a rumor that Wolverine was gonna kill somebody important. What do you mean by that? Is he gonna be the reason Thor was crying? And mind you, we got the mini civil war happening between the new Avengers and the copyrighted Avengers, which according to Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus, Sam has already recruited his Avengers members off screen in the MCU. I'll have a whole nother video telling you who I think is gonna be a part of that team. So it looks like it's really gonna be a free-for-all between all these teams. But I think we ain't done yet. Because the other day it was revealed that Neve Campbell had been cast as Polaris, with even Alex Perez, who's way more reliable than My Time to Shine Hello, saying that yes, they'll confirm it. And initially people thought this was for Avengers Doomsday, but Bo DeMayo, who worked on X-Men 97, confirmed that he had cast her in X-Men 97 Season 2 to play Polaris, who, if you don't know, is another child of Magneto. And that's sick. I'm juiced to see her in X-Men 97 Season 2. But there's more to this Polaris story than meets the eye. Because then Alex Perez said family reunion with a bunch of colored hearts, which is clearly alluding to the fact that we're gonna get Magneto reuniting with all of his children, Quicksilver, Wanda, and Polaris. But could it be Emma Dumont's version of Polaris? Either way, this is interesting. But we ain't done yet. Job's not finished, because we got another rumor from a somewhat reliable scooper, where they said that both Aaron Taylor Johnson and Evan Peters are in talks to return as Quicksilver in the next Avengers movies. Dog, you're telling me we're getting 2 Quicksilvers for the price of 1? You didn't see that coming. And I'm all for this, bro, so we get some redemption for Aaron Taylor Johnson, because after Kraven, and if he does come back, give him a suit like this, because and I've been saying for a while now that I feel like they're also going to be adapting Children's Crusade, where he teams up with Wanda, but it looks like he might get his own little faction of heroes to be on Doom's side. And if Doom was to promise Magneto that his people can have their own place in reality, you can bet your ass he's going to do it. And quickly ending off with some casting news, we got Haley Atwell saying that she's ready to take Peggy Carter to the next level in these upcoming Avengers movies. And I know a lot of people are sick of Captain Carter because of What If, but if it's Haley Atwell in live action, hey, I don't got a problem with that at all. But this, on top of the fact that we know that Chris Evans is returning as a bunch of different versions of himself, I'm curious if it's going to be the same couple from the end of Endgame, and they come back as both Captain Carter and Captain America. You know Marvel cannot resist teaming them up together, because they can do this all day. And on top of that, we got Scarlett Johansson saying that Natasha Romanoff will not appear in Avengers Doomsday, to which Alex Perez of the Cosmic Circus said, the way she phrased it, won't return as Natasha Romanoff. What do you mean by that? I'm praying for a Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh scene in Avengers. We also got Young Grufford saying that he's not returning in Doomsday as Reed Richards. And I'm calling I'm Not the Werewolf, because I think we're going to see a version of the Council of Reeds, most likely in Secret Wars. And the final person who's out is Charlie Cox's Daredevil. He confirms that he will not appear in Doomsday, and I really believe him. I think they're setting up Daredevil in his series to be the big leader of the Marvel television side of things. With the fact that we know that Kristen Ritter is returning in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 as Jessica Jones, you can bet your bottom dollar we're getting the return of the Defenders in the MCU. And good, because I need that more than air. Now let's play Drip or Drown, because we also got news that Mystique will be getting a comic accurate suit in Doomsday, and I'm hoping it's the white one with the skull belt. Oh, and it's about damn time they covered her up, said no one. Shang-Chi is said to be getting a new suit, and I'm not gonna hold you, I fuck with the dragon scale look, so if it don't look something like this, I don't want it. And finally, it was said that Chris Hemsworth Thor was seen on set looking like unworthy Thor, with the red hood, the cape, looking crazy as ever. And all I gotta say is, oh my goodness, the Russo brothers, if they can't cook with the Hulk, they cook with Thor. I still think the best version of Thor I've ever gotten is Infinity War. And all I gotta say is, y'all are not ready for this. Moving on to our next piece of news, thanks to Alex Perez from Cosmic Circus, a very reliable industry insider. He is stating that Mark Ruffalo will return as Bruce Banner the Hulk in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And hopefully the Russo brothers do him justice. At least hint at the fact that he's going to become a raging monster so we can do a World War Hulk in live action. But also, it just makes a whole lot of sense. Why wouldn't Mark Ruffalo return? He was in the post-credit scene for Shang-Chi. He's going to be the connection between both Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi, and She-Hulk most likely. And he's just been a fixture since the first Avengers. Like, you already knew he was going to come back. And then we also got Lewis Pullman teasing Sentry's role in Avengers Doomsday, stating that the Thunderbolts don't want to let him out of their sight because they realize that if he's caught in the wrong hands, or if he's not being supported enough by the right people, he might be dangerous. But they also want to keep him close in case they can figure out a way to use him. He's a very good asset. And I mean, this has basically been Sentry's MO in the comics, especially in the Dark Avengers run, which definitely seems like the Thunderbolts, Valentina, and these Thunderbolts/New Avengers are kind of taking inspiration from. And if I had to guess, Doom's going to find a way to manipulate this man some way, somehow, similar to how Norman Osborn does in the Dark Avengers run. And he's going to use him to do his bidding. Because I also have a whole ass theory with what I think Sentry's role is going to be in Doomsday. I think he's going to be fitting the new Molecule Man role for Secret Wars. And the final piece of news or rumors we have today is from Scooper Thwip, who I would personally say is definitely one of the more reliable scoopers in the game. But according to them, Sentry will be getting a new suit in Doomsday, and hopefully he's just got less of the panels going on, because this suit is really good if it just had way less panels and the yellows matched. Woo, that was a lot of news. And it feels like we get an update of Avengers Doomsday every single damn day. But shit, I'm not mad at it, because I really want these movies to be peak. But either way, let me know what you think about this news down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.